Let's make a basic, easy to set up, moving elevator platform in Unreal Engine with blueprints. Finished version of which will be down below in the description for YouTube members and patrons as always to download and check out. But it's going to be relatively straightforward and easy. We'll start by making a new blueprint class. It'll be of type actor and we'll call that BP moving platform. Elevator, lift, whatever you want to call it. This, to get started with at least, only really needs a static mesh component. We're going to probably add something like a trigger volume to this in a moment, but for now, a static mesh is all we need. If you already have a static mesh to give in here for your platform, that's great. If you don't, you can make one, or what I'm going to do is just use the default 1 meter cube and scale it to be roughly the size I want. So let's make this twice as big in the X and Y, and then make it a lot thinner by just making it like 5% the height. And that kind of does the job of creating a platform for our elevator. Then we're going to go into the event graph and start by making two variables. The first one being the start location, which will be of type vector and be instance editable. And then the second one will also be a vector, and that will be then naturally the ending location, which will be instance editable as well. If we real quick compile that and save, we can set the end location a default value just to be a little bit higher up, let's say 250 units up from the starting location. And for both of these values, we're going to set show 3D widgets to being true. And what that will do is, if I just compile and save this real quick and I drag this into the world, you can now see that we have these two different widgets that we can move around. And if we look at the values here in the details panel, as I move this around, you can see that these values get updated. So this is just like being able to drag around any actor or component, but it's just dragging around the value of that variable, which is quite useful. So then all we have to do is create a little bit of code that's going to move our elevator from the starting location to the ending location, and then back from the ending location to the starting location. You can do this in a whole bunch of different ways with timelines and do it on gradual curves and all that type of good stuff. For now, we're going to keep it fairly simple, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to make two custom events here, and that is move to end. And what that's going to do is it's going to take our static mesh and it's going to set its relative location. So that's going to be this component's location relative to this actor's root. And we'll also use this static mesh to get its current relative location. So we have its current relative location. We know where we're moving toward, the end location. So we can just real easy v-interp to either v-interp to is fine, that will make it a little bit more gradual, or v-interp to constant, which will make it a lot more linear. V-interp to just makes it feel a bit better. And that gives us in our current, our target, the delta time, which we can either take in as a parameter from here, or we can just get world delta seconds as the input for here, and then the interpolation speed, which is going to be our promote to variable, and we'll just call that speed. Make that instance editable as well. And you might need to move around a little bit with what the actual value for that ends up being. Let's start with 100 and see how that goes. Then we connect that up to the new location and move to end. And for now, I'm just going to put that into eventic. So move to end, and let's see what that looks like. If we set this end location to be something a little bit higher up maybe. So how quickly does this move? It moves really quickly at a speed of 100. So that's definitely too much. Maybe just a value of 1. And now you can see it moves, and it's slowed down a little bit as it gets toward the end there. And that's why the normal v-interp is kind of nice to use for this type of thing, because it's a little bit less jarring. Though the speed values for this are somewhat less intuitive. Because if I move the end location up a lot more, you can see it starts moving faster. So I don't actually necessarily love this one, but it's up to you which one you prefer. We can also just use the v-interp to constant and hook everything into there, and this will actually make a lot more sense. So if we put in a speed value of 100 here, we'll see it moves at a certain speed, and if we set this to 500, it will move, well, 5 times as fast. Then, after we set that new relative location, we want to check if it has now reached that location or not. So what we do is we get our, well, relative location here. We just check the distance vector between those two. And this will give us a distance between those two values. And we can just check if this is exactly equal to 0, technically, but it might not be exactly equal to 0. It might just be a little bit off. We probably want to check just if this is less than, let's say, 1 or 2, a very low number. So if that is the case, what we will do is we will just make a bool variable here, and we'll call that move forward of type boolean. And with alt, we drag that in for a setting node, and with control, we drag that in for a getting node, and then we just use a not boolean to flip the value of it. So if this was true, it's now not true, so it's going to be false. And if this was false, it's now going to be not false, so it'll be true. And then in here, instead of just always moving toward our end location, what we'll do is we'll use a select vector, the same thing with checking the distance here, and we'll use this move forward node for the pick a value. So if move forward is true, we're moving toward the end location, so it's going to be picking A. If this is false, we want to be moving toward the start location, and this will be picking B. And this way we have the exact same code, just moving to a different goal instead of needing to duplicate this entire event twice over. And we want to make sure that by default move forward is true, because otherwise the first time around is going to try to move towards the start location where it obviously already exists. And just like that, we have an elevator now that moves back and forth. From here, you can add a whole bunch of stuff to it, of course. We could have one more bool for is moving and set that to, by default, for instance, just be false. And just drag this in with control. And then we can right click that, convert to branch. It's quite nice. And only do any of this if is moving is set to true. And the wonderful thing about that is then when we change the direction here, we can set is moving, holding down alt to false real quick. Can then improve this by adding in a box collision component, and just let's make this about as big as the platform itself, and then make sure that the box collision is actually attached to the static mesh, otherwise it won't move with the mesh. And with that selected, if we go in the details panel and we scroll all the way down, we can check a on component begin overlap, and then we can check is this other actor equal to get player pawn, so that it doesn't trigger when any enemy steps on it or whatever. Then we can set is moving to true. And then if we just make it move diagonally so that we actually can get back onto it after we get off of it, we'll see that when I walk onto it, it takes me over there. I can go about my business doing all types of interesting stuff here, and then get back on and it'll take me back down. That's the basic version. I'm going to make an extended version of this on the Patreon and for YouTube members just as a little bit of a bonus video where we use a curve to fuel the interpolation here between the starting and ending so that it's not just a straight line and it's so jarring when it starts and it stops. But it's a little beyond the scope of the easy, quick to make elevator that we have here. And if you want to support this type of content and get access to all the project files for all of my tutorials, you can become a member here on YouTube or a Patreon. And thanks to my Cave students, tier supporters, Oigu and Earl Monseval Urno, and my Cave Digger tier supporters, Classy Crustaceo, the Joshimator, Mauricio Farias, and Cheng the Dude.